Okay, good morning, everybody. On behalf of the University of St. Salle Integrated School, I would like to welcome our distinguished guest from the Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society. This group is headed by the Director for Region 6, Dr. Evelyn Reynoso Lacson. Together with Dr. Lacson are the following: Dr. Blanca de Guia, Dr. Enrique Hill Oblipias, Dr. Juanito Miguel Chiotico, Dr. Agnes Chiotico, Dr. Marie Faith Villaruz, Dr. Regil Palmares, Dr. Maria Teresa Maestral, Dr. Rodita Gostilo. And of course, let us welcome our friends from Sanofi. So everybody, this morning is a very rare opportunity for us because today we have people who are experts on their field to share with us their knowledge about youth, health, and of course, development. So this morning, you are greatly encouraged to participate and ask questions because in this activity, we hope that all of us will be enlightened. Of course, not only our students as well as the teachers. So in behalf of University of St. Salle, we welcome all the guests and of course our guest speakers for today's activity. And for our opening remarks, let us welcome Dr. Evelyn Lacson.
Hi. Are the mics working? Okay. Hi, I'm your Tita Evelyn Lacson. I'm pretty sure some of you know me. I got to deliver some of you here. I see your faces. And if you're wondering what I am doing here and what these people are doing here, we are representatives of the Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society. If that is a mouthful for you, just think of us as POGS. P-O-G-S. Okay? And because we are your mommy's doctors, we are also concerned about you who we have helped bring out into this world. And that's the youth, which some of you probably are ranging from ages what? 15 to 17. Okay. And it's because of this concern for the youth, especially the adolescent population, of the 82 million Filipinos, you know how many young people you are? Would you give me a rough idea? Any guess, any number, ballpark figure? Of how many million young Filipinos you are? 18 what? Million? Close? Another guess? 20 million? Okay, I'll give you the answer. You're roughly about 6.5 million young people nowadays. Think about that staggering number, and how many of you here right now indulge in teenage behaviors, which may be good and which may be to your detriment. So, because of that concern, we would like to address your health problems. That's why we asked for a forum, and why we're also interested in bringing this forum to all over Region 6 especially. Personally, I would like to make this forum to provide you with accurate information about health, about physical, psychological developments, and to understand yourself as teenagers, because some of you may be feeling something and you do not understand what it is about. And also the changes that occur during this age that pose as a potential risk later in life, especially I'm speaking about teenage behavior. We would like this forum to be very open, interactive, and we would like you to feel that you are free to express yourself, your needs, your fears, in a safe and caring environment. That is what we wish in this forum. Can we begin now? And may I ask the other MC for this morning, Dr. Jenico, to assist me here. I need another microphone for her. That's all.
Hi, I'm your Tita Jenny. DJ, not a VJ. Anyway, you're the Gen Tech generation, right? So, actually I have
I'll
a
go
son
back later.
here. He's grade 8, he's grade 6. So, more or less, I know the problems encountered with adolescents. So, as we go along, as you listen to the lectures today, be open-minded. Listen to the lectures, and if you have any questions, write it down, or you can, if you're brave enough to raise your hand and ask the questions, then it would be very, very informative, and we would really extend ourselves to help you guys. Okay? So, before we start anything, do you have any questions so far? Okay, the what do you call this, the slides which will be shown to you will be really was really made for your generation. Okay, so you will see music videos, and then you will have a VJ there, and then I hope you enjoy the show. It's more of a show, so it's very informal, so enjoy what you see today. So let's get the ball rolling. We'll start with the first module. Okay.
Madugan ang boy unto. Okay, doon. Doon sa ikaw puro sa kwan. Ang bukol na ko na. Sorry, gabi daw.
May feedback.
Bakit tudok mag-ipit?
Dapat ang kanan nyo, they should not be late because you should have prepared already ahead.
Funny waiting for other doctors here to most things.
Siya, dinelegate na lang niya sa iyo. If she was going to do this, she has to prepare.
it's Stevie J. Today we've got loads of hot and cool stuff we'll be sharing with you. You know, teen talk and that kind of stuff. As you and I know, we've got only one life to live, so we might as well live it right. Right? So today we're gonna chat about adolescent health issues and perspectives. Sounds like heavy stuff, huh? But hey, it's cool. It's important. It's something we should know so that we can face the real world out there. In the next hour or so, we're into TXT. What is TXT? It's teens expressing themselves. As in, express yourself like Madonna. Dig it? My advice is to tune in. As in, really tune in. Because you might not get another chance to hear what you're about to hear. It's about us young people. So, listen up. We're going to have dialogues with doctors from the Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society. Whew. That's POGS for short, as in people offering guidance services. Ain't that cool? We all know that they are very busy people, but hey, they took time to be with us today because they're concerned about us. They're going to explain to us what's happening right now, things that we're dazed and confused about. Our bodies, our problems, ourselves, about tomorrow, and about our sexuality. Hey, stop giggling. This is serious stuff. But before we listen to our guest doctor, here's a song from Britney Spears, and it's called I'm Not a Girl, Not Yet a Woman. Pretty cool, huh? I bet that there was a day in your life that you were just as confused as Britney.
Hi guys! Hi guys! Oh. Hi guys, good morning. I'm sure after watching that music video, Britney Spears, you're all now wide awake. We have your complete attention. So I assure you that we have more music videos to come. So sit back, relax, enjoy, but most especially learn from this lecture. So we have Usher in the next music video, so that's one thing to look forward to. But first we have to get down to the learning part. So let's have the first slide, please. The first question that we are posing to you is, who is the adolescent? Next slide. The term adolescent is just a fancier term for the more common term which you usually use, which is a teenager. So if you want to impress some friends, instead of using the word teenager, probably you could use the word adolescent. An adolescent includes young girls and boys between the ages of 10 to 19, to which you belong. This is the age wherein you are no longer a child, but not yet an adult. For the girls, this is the time when you are still not decided whether you're going to give up your Barbie dolls or you're going to watch your Beyonce CD. For the boys, it's a transition from your Game Boys, your PlayStations, to your Mortal Kombat and your Ragnaroks, okay? So, this is also the time wherein you will be experiencing great physical and psychological changes. So, next slide, please. In our vernacular, this adolescence is the time we're in. For the girls, nagadalaga. For the boys, it's nagasoltero. So this is the period wherein you're experiencing puberty blues. So what are the signs that you should watch out for to signal that you are entering the stage of puberty? So let's give this a rundown. There is the appearance of the secondary sexual characteristics. And for the girls, more importantly, this is the time wherein they are already capable of getting pregnant. For the females, puberty starts or occurs between the age of 8 to 16. And for the males, it can occur between 10 to 14 years. It takes more or less 3 to 5 years to complete. And as you notice, it occurs earlier in girls, 2 years earlier, than that in boys. Menstruation for the girls starts at around age 12. As mentioned by Dr. Lacson earlier, it's an adolescent world. Roughly 2 out of 10 Filipinos are adolescents. And if you look
at it at a bigger perspective, there are 1.2 billion adolescents in the world. So you can just imagine how many adolescents are there. So if there are times that you feel you are alone, you're experiencing certain problems, all you have to do is to think that there are other 1.2 billion adolescents just like you who are having that same problem. So you are not alone. Let's have a review of your anatomy. You might have this in your science subject, so let's just go through this very fast. For the female system, you have your ovaries, which produces eggs. You have your uterus, in which the baby grows if you become pregnant, the cervix, the endometrium, vagina. For the male, you have your urethra, your penis, your glands, and your testes.
Somebody said that adolescence is a combination of two words, adult and innocent. Adolescent, an innocent trying to be an adult. It is the time when most boys and girls experience change and look for their sexual identity. Are you a girl, a boy, bakla, or tomboy? Well, if you don't know who you are, then you're in trouble, kid. So let's continue listening to our experts. Let's move on and really find out what happened.
So aside from the physical changes that occur during this time, you also go through other changes, and these are, you have new feelings, you develop new desires and new sensations. For the physical changes in the males, the penis, the testes, the scrotum, they get bigger and sperm cell production begins. This is also the time wherein the male experiences his first ejaculation. There is also hair growth along the pubic area, the axillary, and some boys will develop mustache, just like he does. So the height would increase suddenly, and the shoulders and the chest would get broader, so more macho. The voice deepens, and the Adam's apple becomes prominent. The downside, however, is that this is the time when you get pimples. So you become patrons of Eskinol, Skin White, Pond's. So next slide, please. We have a video for this.
Sperm are first between the ages of 12 and 16. Then, until death, a fertile man produces sperm at the rate of about 100 million per day. Sperm, a man can still become a father well into old age.
Let's now go to the physical changes among the girls. So the breasts start to develop. Outside you can see the nipple and the areola. This is the ones that you see grossly. Inside, however, you can see the milk ducts, the fat, and the elastic fibers. We use a certain staging to describe the development of the breast and the pubic hair among females. So let's look at it. We say that the breast is stage 1 if you see the elevation of the papilla only. There is still the absence of pubic hair. So the patient is a stage 1 tanner. For stage 2, there is now the elevation of your breast and your papilla as a single mound. The areola becomes enlarged, and this is seen among girls between 9 going to 10 years old. The pubic hair also starts to develop as appearing as sparse, long, and pigmented. The median age for pubic hair stage 2 is 10.5 years. Stage 3 is characterized by the further enlargement of the breast and the areola, and the median age is 11.2 years. By this time, the pubic hair becomes dark, coarse, and is spread sparsely or thinly over the mons area. For the 4th stage, you now have, you're giggling, this is the stage probably that you're in. So, secondary mound of areola and papilla above the breast. The median age is 12, and the adult type hair is now seen in stage 4. Stage 5, there is now the recession of the areola to the contour of the breast, and this is seen among 14 to 15-year-old girls, and the pubic hair is now more of the adult type. Aside from the development of the breast in the females, other physical changes includes the bony pelvis would start to broaden. The boys might appreciate this as the girls now have curves. No? So growth spurt also occurred during this time. The girls reach their full height 2 years earlier than the boys. And just like the boys, there is now growth of body hair in the pubic and the axillary area. Pimples can now be seen. And this is also accompanied by the growth of the uterus and the vagina. During this time, the adolescent girl experiences what we call the menarche. Menarche is just a medical term to describe the first onset of menses. So the first time you have your menses, that is your menarche. Next slide, please.
The ovaries are shown here as small spheres on either side of the pink uterus. In producing eggs, the left and right ovaries alternate, only one being active during each cycle. Around the middle of the cycle, at ovulation, the ripest egg erupts from the surface of the ovary. It's caught by the open end of the fallopian tube.
Cognitive changes also occur during the adolescent period, and that includes simple thoughts becoming abstract, and the orientation expands from the existential to perception of long-range option. It sounds alien, so to understand this more, let's see the video.
Mami, gusto ko maging doktor pag laki ko. Mami, pag naging doktor ako, gusto ko maging obligani katulad ng kanta.
Next slide, please. Psychological changes can also occur, and this is characterized by shifts from body image to fantasy and idealism, and eventually to an intellectual and functional identity. This is the time when you start wearing your Che Guevara t-shirt, you start idolizing your F4, and Jordan, probably Michael or Jordan Herrera if you want. This is also the time wherein you become more independent, you start to rebel against adults, and you seek affiliation. That's the time when you form your own group, your own barkada. So these are the psychological changes.
Mami, okay na po tong dress na napili niyo. Ready na po ako sa... Mami, eto na favorite brand ko ah.
We can qualify adolescence in 3 developmental stages. The first is early adolescence. I can't find my pointer. This includes teenagers or adolescents aged 12 to 14. This is the time when you prefer to be with people of the same sex, boys with boys, girls with girls. At the age of 15 to 17, you now have mid-adolescence, and this is the time when you go on dates and you have sexual adventures. I hope not. For the late adolescence, this is at the age of 18 to 21, and by this time, you have established a relationship with one person. For the boys, adolescent boys would usually prefer outdoor activities and barkada. Some girls would also do this, but it was found to be more common among boys. Boys would also begin to be sexually active after the first ejaculation and continue until old age. Adolescent boys are also more focused on sexual pleasure they would get from a girl rather than love. Adolescent girls, on the other hand, are more curious about boys, dating, and sex. They're more preoccupied with how the guy looks, whether he looks like Justin Timberlake or and what he does and how he relates to girls. Girls, adolescent girls can get along without sex, unlike you boys. Sexuality development in adolescence can be defined with these words. So you have body image concerns, struggle for independence, identity development, peer involvement, and all those four. Let's discuss a little about menstruation for the girls. So menstruation is just a medical term to describe the monthly bleeding that adolescent experiences. So that's too fast. Certain changes goes on in your ovaries and in uterus. Suffice it to say that changes in your ovaries occur until you reach day 14. So you have your developing eggs right there. You have a developing egg. Where is it? Yan akong pointer. Okay. It can't be seen. Oh, hindi ko siya makita. Okay. The thing over there. You see the ball-like thing? That's your a follicle developing in your ovaries. At day 14, it ruptures. The significance of that, or the importance of that, is that during that time, the girl is ovulating. If a sperm is present during the girl engages in sexual intercourse during this time, she can get pregnant. However, if no sperm is present, then the lining of the uterus starts to shed off and is passed out in the form of your menstrual blood. So the girl experiences menstruation. Okay. Sige. Some problems you might have with regards to your menstruation is you're having irregular cycles. This is common among young girls, and this is probably due to an immaturity in a part of your brain which we call the pituitary ovarian axis. Next slide, please. During menses, we have what we call our premenstrual syndrome, and this is the time when the adolescent girl experiences certain discomfort, and this includes swelling and tenderness of the breast, bloated feeling in the abdomen. Some girls would actually gain weight up to 5 pounds. You experience dysmenorrhea or pain, and pimples, mild fatigue and irritability, and for some there is increased perspiration. Fourth one, let's go to male erection. So when there is male erection, blood would usually fill up the penis, and this would usually occur when the penis is stimulated. Obviously, okay. If there is no erection, then there is no sexual intercourse. Wet dreams are just ejaculations that occur during sleep. So we have here a video.
Sexual stimulation causes spongy tissue in the penis to fill with blood. The penis swells and stiffens to create an erection. Sperm from the testicles then become mixed with secretion from the prostate and other glands to form semen. At the moment of orgasm, the climax of sexual stimulation, forceful and rhythmic contractions drive the semen through the erect penis. 2 to 5 milliliters of semen is usually ejaculated. This contains about 200 to 400 million sperm.
Si ano ba? Kasal siya. Then now relate. You relate to the changes that occurs in people, right? Okay, so we have questions. We have presentation after the second module. So the first module, the speaker was your tita. Hey, she's from Iloilo. So your language the one to give the lecture. Now, the second module would be about myths and misconceptions. Okay, about menstruation, about virginity. So, this one would be delivered and talked about by your Tito Reggio. This time it's going to be a boy. So, not all of the Trishas are girls, okay? So, let's now call on your Tito Reggio for talk.
Ano yung kwanto nga lang? Okay, so maayong aga. Game na ba kayo? Game na! Okay, so...
Did you hear about the stork delivering babies? Do you really believe that? Well, some still do. That you can get pregnant by just kissing or touching each other's bodies. Talk about the birds and the bees, the flowers and the trees. That's our next topic, separating facts from fiction. But before we do that, let's listen to this song by Usher. If you got it right, then you got it wrong, baby.
should change your ways like hanging. So you act like you're ready, but you know. And if everything in your past, you wanna let it go. I've been there, done it, after all that, this is what I found. Nobody wants to be alone. If you're touched by the words in my song, then maybe you. Oh yeah. Oh no, if you miss one day, I'll cry, yeah. No, 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 no. Someone, but you keep on thinking about somebody else.
Okay, so the next topic would be about myths and misconceptions. Diba sa Ilonggo, ano na? Mga disparates, no? Mga false beliefs. Okay, so let us see kung ano na sila. Okay, next. Okay, so let's talk about myths and misconceptions about menstruation, virginity, pregnancy, male sexuality, and the breasts. Okay. What about
I've always
menstruation?
thought that menstruation is a disease every girl has to experience during adolescence.
True or false? Final answer? Okay, it's false, di ba? Why? Menstruation is not a... So, Hindi na siya balatian. Okay? But a normal biologic process in a base magsalang iba nga boy sa babayi lang ang nagamens. Tama? Okay. May naklaro kita. Okay. But sometimes, okay, some women, however, may have headache, tired, or bloating. And food craving, nagapalakaon. But this occurs during the 7 to 10 days before. So they call it a premenstrual symptom. So, ang good news, when the menstruation starts, madula na lang ni. Okay? Now, what is not normal is when you have pain during menstruation. No? Siling nila, ginadismi ako. Tod na. Sino sa inyo nakaagi sina? Mga babae. Babae, ha? Okay. So do you see your doctor? O okay lang na sa inyo, nagkasakit, no? So kung masakit na gid, no, na it affects your activity, ga-absent na ka mo, na i-check niyo na, makabase lain na sa normal. Okay, next please.
Sabi ni Lola, pagkaligo ka daw pag may mens ka, nasisiraan ka ng bahay.
Tuod na. Okay. Nagaluka-luka ka, kung maligo ka. Okay, so what is true? Next, please. So there is no scientific basis that bathing during menstruation will make one crazy. Diba? On the contrary, it is important to take a bath during menstruation because there is excess buildup of oil in skin and hair. So dapat matinlo, di ba? Tapos siyempre may smell kung hindi ka maligo, hindi ka manibin. So dapat gidman, no? Dapat gidman. Di ba nakita ng advertisement doon galagto kasini? May boys mga apat, tapos ang girl di ba? So conscious siya nga base may smell. Doon mo na ang feeling. Okay? So kinanglan maligo, gid ah? Okay. Next please.
Bawal din daw kumain ng maasim tulad ng Indian mango, suka at iba pa. Eh favorite ko pa naman yung mga yun.
Sino sa inyo nag-practice ini? So doon hindi na nasubong gina-practice, no? Okay? The fact is, sour foods does not affect in any way the character of menstruation. So, what effect na? Pwede ka kakaon. No? In fact, no diet restriction is advised as long as it is balanced and taken regularly. So, just eat a well-balanced diet, okay na. Okay? Next, please.
Ako, nung unang mens ko, isang step lang ng hagdan ang pinatalo ng nanay ko. Para nga naman isang araw lang din ang mens ko. Eh, bakit ganon? Isang linggo lagi ang period ko. Dapat ata, di na lang ako tumalon.
Amo na siling ni Lola, no, siling ni Yaya, no. Okay, jumping 3 steps down the stairs will shorten your period to 3 days, no. So what is true, every girl has her own menstrual cycle, normally 3 to 7 days. So no amount of jumping will change. Ang lain lang, kung paglumpat mo, nahulog ka, napilas ang dahi, damo imo dugo na in addition to your menstruation, napilas ka pa, di ba? Okay, next please.
My menstruation comes on different days of the month. Is there something wrong with me?
Okay, so kung halimbawa na-expect mo September 1 ang first day ka mens, dapat bala October 1? Dapat bala every November 1? Okay, next please. So the normal cycle is 28 days plus minus 7, meaning 21 ang shortest, 35 ang longest. So, as long as your menstruation falls within that interval, okay lang na. Bisan wala palakpak si ma'am. Ay, salamat. Dira ako. So, as long as nag-fall dira ang inyong menstruation, siguro si ma'am nag-worry, kikidulain iya nga mens. So, at least naklaruhan, no? So, basta within this 28 plus minus 7 days, regardless of the date, it's still normal. Okay? Next, please.
Sabi ng tita ko, ipahid ko raw sa mukha ang dugo ng unang mens ko. Gawin ko raw yun para kuminis at pumuti ang face ko. Yeah! Kadiri ata yun. Pero kung ikadalanta ko, bakit hindi?
Nabatian yun ang disbili. Ang naaragid man. Pero, din practice nyo. Okay. Para mag-flawless, no? Para mag-siya, no? Sinang artista, si Veronica, So lang si Jones o si Rosana Roses, no? So what is true is that it's not a cure, no, for pimples. Okay. Next, please.
Is it okay to do household chores and to do exercises during my monthly period? My mother has forbidden me to do so.
Okay, base rason lang na ay tamadan magbulig sa balay, no? Masiling, gamens ako, kamo lang to paghugas ka pinggan or kamo lang to panglimpyo, no? Okay? Menstruation should not be a deterrent to one's daily activities. So, pwede ka school, ha? Base blood excuse slip nyo, ay may mens ako, absent ako 3 days. So, hindi na pwede, ha? Being active prevents menstrual discomfort as long as one doesn't overdo it. Actually, di ba, opposite gani eh. Kung may ginaubra ka, ang imong nga mind hindi concentrated sa imong dabatyag eh. So, it deviates. So, dapat gid man may obrahon ka. Okay, next please.
I believe that when you miss your period, the menstrual blood that stays in the body is body blood. Pag maaga kang nag-umpisang magkaroon, maaga ka rin magme-menopause. Di ba ganun yun?
Okay. Bala nyo ka ng menopause? Yes. Ano na siya? Usually, pila edad? 40 plus. So, amo na siling nila nga kung timprano ka kung nag-mens, that means nga, ma-menopause ka early man, which is not true, no? So, hindi mo silingon nga kung 8 years old ka nag-mens, at 30, ma-menopause ka, okay? Because age of menopause is independent of the age of menarche, no? So, you can ask your tita, your lola, your mother, kung saan o sila nag-menopause, kay most probably, base dudira man, no? Ang ano. Okay, next please. Okay, the next about
Virginity? Uso pa ba yun?
Uso pa ba?
Sabi nila, pag untouched and unkissed ka, virgin ka pa.
So, uso pa? Boys? Dapat? Ay, yung iba ta na, wala. So, okay. So, if you look at an ordinary dictionary, di ba, ang definition, like Webster, the state of being untouched, unexplored, unspoiled, di ba? So, hindi lang babae ang virgin, pwede man nga, no, virgin forest, di ba? Kabati ka mo sina? Meaning, wala pa siya na-explore, wala pa nakadtuan. Okay. Medically, virginity is described as the presence of an intact hymen. Bala nyo anong hymen, di ba? Amo na siyang tissue nga partially covers the vagina. Okay. Legally, okay, it is a condition of a female who has not experienced sexual intercourse and whose genital organs have not been altered by carnal connection. So there should be a penetration sa male organ dun sa female para ma-lose ang virginity. Amo na ang definition legal, no? Okay, next please.
Nakakawala ba ng virginity ang pagbabalay? Mahilig akong mag-horseback riding at mag-bike sa Baguio noong dalagita pa ako. Virgin pa ba ako?
So, kung ibang hadlok na lang mag-enroll sa Bali School, no? Kay base ko no guba ilang virginity, okay? What really happens is that this activity should not affect one's virginity at all, no? Pwede ma-stretch ang imong hymen during these activities or ma-rupture, pero virgin ka man gihapon because there is no sexual intercourse. Amo nang ano, no? Okay?
Sabi nila, ang test ng virginity ay pag nagdugo ang during honeymoon night. Paano pag di nagdugo? Does it mean di ka na virgin?
Tuod na boys? Anong bati nyo? Girls, ano, okay? Now, honeymoon bleeding does not always occur because sometimes ang hymen, may mga hymen nga very elastic, di ba? Ang lastiko, tamaan ka stretch, nga hindi not easily broken during first sexual contact. Although wala siya na break, pero hindi ka na virgin. So, hindi guarantee, no, nga kung wala na siya nag-bleed sa first night nyo, hindi na siya virgin. Okay? Okay, what about pregnancy?
Mabubuntis ba ako kahit minsan lang kami nagdo ng boyfriend ko?
Ang bunang false nga beliefs ang iba nga once man lang to So wala na chance nga mapregi ako, okay? The fact is, if the woman has released the egg and that egg is viable Pregnancy is always possible even in one encounter. So bisan ka isa lang kamo nag-contact, kung at that time nag-release ka sang egg, fertile ka, dako ang chance. So bisan frequent ang inyo contact, kung wala ka nag-ovulate, so hindi ka pregnant. So dapat there should be a union between the sperm and the egg for pregnancy to occur. Okay. It takes only one sperm, di ba na-mention kay Ina, daily, kuno 100 sperms are developed. So only one of that 100 million is needed to fertilize one egg. Okay. Next, please.
May nagturo sa akin kung paano di mabuntis. Withdrawal. Sa labas lang ang hugasan daw kagad to. O kaya, umihi at tumayo agad pagkatapos magtali. Totoo ba ito?
Tuod na. Okay. What is true? So, sperm can swim up to meet the ovum. So, bisan sagwa lang kun. Diba nakita yung movements ng sperm to kay Ina, no? It's like a tadpole, basig. So, pwede na siya kasaka. Bisan sagwa lang. So, basig di malason ka, no? Kag di matabo, di delikado gid. Okay? Next, please.
Pag di umabot ang babae, di raw mabubuntis.
Okay. So, kung wala ko na nag-orgasm, sure na nga hindi ka mabuntis. Okay? The answer to that is that there's no need for orgasm in female. As long as may egg ka na nga nagahulat doon sa fallopian tube, kag nag-contact, may dako ang chance nga ma-pregnant, no, ang isa ka babae. Okay, next please.
Sabi ng kaibigan ko, maaari ka rin mabuntis sa swimming pool o jacuzzi. Kaya delikado rin pala yung mag-swimming with boys.
Even sa CR, di ba? Ang iba nahadlok mag-CR kay base ko no? Okay? There are no reports of such incidents so far. In fact, swimming pools are treated with chlorine that may eliminate viable microorganisms, sperm cells included. Kag ang sperm, it will not survive outside of the vaginal canal. So kung ara sa basin, papatay na. So hindi na siya pwede. Like in swimming pool also, no? Okay. Next please. Okay, what about male sexuality?
Ang masturbation daw ay masama dahil nakakapraning at nakakabulag daw ito.
No, mas tunog ang halakhakan. Okay, what's the answer to that? Okay, so it does not, wala effect, no? It does not cause insanity and blindness. Okay, next please.
My friend told me that masturbation decreases the sperm count. Is it true?
Pero siling to kay Ina, the male testis continuously produce sperm 200,000 a day. So, hindi siya hindi siya maubos. Okay. Okay. Next please.
Dapat daw mag-masturbate madalas.
Oh, what's the answer to this? Oh, it does not affect, no? Depende na sa edad. It depends on the genes. Siyempre, kung dalagko ka mga diba, sa family, no? So, depende na sa inyong no? Sa genetic makeup sang lalaki. Okay, next please. Okay, what about the breasts?
Huwag daw gumamit ng push-up bra. Magkaka-breast cancer ka.
Ang push-up bra, nga na. Silingganin nila. Oo, silingganin nila, bra is considered a criminal. Ba't ko nga, it is a hold-upper. Okay. So there is no relationship between the use of push-up bra and breast cancer. Siguro ang lang, kung hindi ka mo comfortable sa tight bra na naga-press against the chest, so choose the medyo maluwang-luwang nung size. Okay, next please.
Lumaban ako sa Aikido competition. Na-trauma ako. Ito siguro ang dahilan kung bakit ako may breast cancer ngayon.
Okay. What's the answer to that? Trauma cannot cause breast cancer. Pero mga instances, sometimes nga, diba, nabunggo, tapos kung na-feel yung nagbanog, no, ipalantaw nyo, no? See a doctor kung if there's really like nagka-hematoma, sila na nagkuha ng dugo, no? So, nyo na lang, no? Okay. Pero trauma cannot cause breast cancer. Okay, next please.
Lagi akong tinutokso ng barkada ko, magpatingin daw ako sa doktor kasi baka raw may diferensya na ang boobs ko. Hindi kasi pareho ng size, abnormal daw ito.
Siyempre, abnormal kung wala ang isa, may ara sa pihat. No? That's abnormal. Pero kung ara man, pero the size is not is not equal, nga do, pwede pa na. No? That's still normal. No? Okay. Okay. And also the size, siling nila kung i-exercise. Ang size kuno depends on the age. Na. Kasi sa genetic makeup man sang babae. No, kung ang family niyo balag ko ang breast, so laban-laban, doon mo ka pa na. Okay? Next please. Okay, so wala na. Thank you.
It seems that everybody was enjoying about, about birds in the trees. There are already questions coming in, but we will entertain them after the recess. So you can have your break now. Then you can write down your questions on a piece of paper, and then you have to screen it first. No? Your guidance counselor will screen the questions, and then the speakers will be able to answer them later on. Then we'll go to module 3 and 4 after the recess. Okay, see you. You have a 30 minutes break. Then come back after 30 minutes.
As defined, let's talk about, diba, virginity by Webster is untouched, unadulterated or unexplored, like the forest, virgin forest or virgin oil, diba? Ibig sabihin pure. Kaya Virgin Mary, diba, parang pure. So, pero when you masturbate, purity is the farthest thing from your mind, diba? So by that definition, yung mind mo, pero yung legal term of virginity is there is a contact of the male sex organ and the female sex organ. So in masturbation, without the contact of these organs, then you're still a virgin.
There was a question regarding the presence of a foreskin in the penis. So this is, I'll answer the question. In males, at birth, the male sexual organ or the penis has a foreskin which we call the prepuce. Okay? And some parents would allow circumcision done at birth. So probably some of the boys here right now have no foreskin anymore. That's what we call circumcision. But this will not affect your sexuality. Okay? The presence of the prepuce or whether you are circumcised or not will not affect your sexuality. Because there was a question regarding the presence of the skin which will affect your sexuality or not. So it will not affect whether you have the prepuce there or not. Whether you're circumcised or not. It will not affect your sexuality. The next question is, what would be the psychological effect of masturbation with regard to frequency?
Hi, mayong aga sa inyong nga tanan. I'm from Manila but my parents are Ilonggo, so I'll speak to you in English and Ilonggo. You all heard the myth about masturbation leading to insanity and to blindness, and you all know that's not true. Okay? So, we are going to answer this question in two ways. If you ask us about the medical side effects of masturbation, we have to be frank and tell you that there are no medical side effects of masturbation. Okay? But the question was the psychological effects of masturbation. Again, let's talk of two things. You're studying in a Catholic school, and you all grew up thinking that sexual satisfaction without the normal marital relationships is considered unacceptable. So if you keep on dwelling on that, and you are torn between wanting to fulfill your sexual desires of having masturbation and wanting to be true to your Catholic faith, of course some people are going to have a lot of anxiety, a lot of guilt doing that, and that can cause some psychological effect. But be that as it may, even if you think that masturbation is a normal process that people go through when they cannot find a sexual partner in an acceptable setting. You know that some people in jail do that. You know that young kids do that out of curiosity. But the fact is that there's a certain something that maybe people who have masturbated know. When you masturbate, all you want to do is to satisfy yourself. That's all. Once you've satisfied yourself, then you're done. But in the marital relation, that's not the way you're supposed to achieve your pleasure. You're supposed to pleasure each other, and the marital act only becomes something that is both genuinely rewarding for both of you if you try to pleasure each other. The problem with someone who is so used to the instant satisfaction of masturbation is that when you get married later on and have a partner, you might still have that desire to just finish off your own satisfaction without thinking of your partner. But if you're able to move from that satisfying yourself only to later becoming mature enough to think of your partner, then masturbation should not have any long-term psychological effect. It's moving from satisfying yourself to satisfying your partner in a committed and faithful relationship to each other.
Question here regarding minar. It was mentioned in the first module, the definition of minar. So minarche or minar is the first menstruation, or the first menstrual flow. The normal age usually minar is occurs between 9 to about 14 years of age. When should a woman or a girl consider the absence of minar abnormal? When there is no secondary sexual characteristics, there's the absence of secondary sexual characteristics like there's no breast body. So wala changes the breast, no? Wala nagawa there are no pubic hair, axillary hair, no appearance. So there's the absence of secondary sexual characteristics and no menstruation at about 14 years of age. If there is no menstruation at 16 years of age, then you have to seek consultation with the doctor. Because that's not 16 years of age. So if there's secondary sexual characteristics at 16 years of age, if there's no secondary sexual characteristics at 14 years of age, the girl should seek consultation with a doctor.
Now go to the third and fourth module. For those questions that have not been answered, you can approach any of us after the 4 modules have been finished. And if you have other questions which you fear you failed to ask because because you're being conservative or you are afraid to ask, then you just can approach us individually outside after the lectures later. So let's now start off with the third module, which will be given to us by Dr. Maestral or your Tita Teray.
Learn something? Now you know what's hearsay and what. Moving on, let me ask you, are you the daring type? Do you like taking risks? You're the same no gun, no glory? Sure. It's cool to be daring and all that. Sure, it can be fun to take risks. but you always have to pay the price, one way or the other. That's why in our upcoming talk with our guest doctor, you'll see the word risk takes on a new meaning. If I may say so, RISK means rushing into social consequences. Anyway, enough of my blabbering. Here's a song from Crane that will give us insight of the consequences in taking risks.
Okay, so far you have gone through 2 modules. And so far you were packaged as boys and girls. I guess that was anticlimactic of my presentation, ano? Bale, we had premature ejaculation because of that slide. But there's a little... Anyway, you were so far packaged as somebody oozing with hormones. Testosterone for the boys, and estrogen and progesterone for the girls. And all of you are adjusting to this biological makeup. Basically, a transition from being a boy to a man. Transition, not yet, not anymore a boy, but not a man. And as what Britney Spears said, you were not a girl, neither a woman. So it's a very, very sacrificial part of your life, as what the video had shown us. So to start off with this module, we are basically going to tackle on the risk-taking behaviors of adolescents. First slide, please. The problem is not basically physical, it's social. And these behaviors includes, next, is that because you are yet from being a man and from a boy. So anything goes. And basically, you are always perhaps you enjoy going to the beach rather than praying the rosary, I guess, and just kneeling. So basically, you always want to be on the move. And also, because of this, you always make abrupt decisions at an instant. You're being impulsive as part of your makeup. And also, it is so intense inside, the feeling of rebelliousness and feeling of independence is so
na.
Bahay ni Simon. Kotse naman yan sa labas eh. Gusto mo sumama.
Hello. So you see the environment also at home would greatly affect the reasons why you always want to stay at the desk. So basically, it's an attraction to highly dangerous activities rather than just staying put, di ba? Most of the time. That's where adolescents usually they are identified to be attracted to try it out smoking. Is that true? Have you tried it so far?
No.
For sure? And all sorts of activities such as substance abuse, drinking alcohol, being casual about sex. For example, what was shown in the a lot of responsibilities for you to take when you go to adulthood, even though it is not yet your stage. Okay? So, basically, being youth is a blooming into fertility. And it's basically discovering and exploring your sexuality. Okay? Of course, there are sexual assault, violence, and suicide, and other health problems, particularly the psychological ones. Hello? Working? Okay. So, because of this social stigma that would be the complication of what the pregnancy would bring about, most of the time they resort to abortion. And of course, money would also become a problem because at your age, basically, you are not yet earning. And you need to support your baby. Diba? It takes responsibility as what we mentioned a while ago, and it would entail a great demand from your age, especially compounded by your biological adjustment. Okay? So, these are the pictures which we showed a while ago, and you could have from the beautiful flower that was given you by nature. You see how distorted they would become if you engaged unresponsibly to sex. So you could have condyloma, unspecified vaginosis, cervicitis, herpes lesions, and perhaps non-specific vaginitis on the right upper. And this one might be gonorrhea. It has discharges also. And the male genitalia could look like this. The top two slides are the syphilitic lesions, the palmar erythema on the right upper, the chancre, and then the chancroid here on the lower, and that is fungal infection of the scrotum. So this is what happens to the male organ. You could have gonorrhea with these discharges, or perhaps non-specific balanitis or infection of the glans penis. Okay? The one on the right is a lesion in the rectum, the rectal area. Usually if there is a gay sexual relationship. And this is a condyloma also in the penis. Okay? So the complications of sexually transmitted diseases are you could have severe infections leading to death. So yun. And of course, the infection could recur. It could disfigure your genitalia as what was well presented. And of course, you may have infertility, cancer of the cervix, and of course, the AIDS. Diba? So presented with all this, would you still dare to risk your flowers and your building and your capacity to build normally later? So I pose that question to you, and we shall be proceeding to the fourth module. Thank you.
Okay. I don't think we need the next lecture. Hindi pala, hindi na kamo mag-dare. We are going to the last, but I don't think I'm the best. But we will try our best.
guidance, right? Everybody needs some advice. Who doesn't? Well, good news. We got help. We can go to people who can really help us. You're too shy to talk to your mom or your dad? So, in our next talk, our guest, MD, will give us tips on why and how we'll seek professional help. Here's a familiar tune to put us in the groove.
So do you think you need guidance? So to whom do you think you should go if you need guidance? Mother. Ay, so hindi ka mo shy sa mother. So for those who can talk to their mothers, it's good. But for those who are shy, next slide. Things to remember in getting guidance, you know that you have doctors around. They say doctors, they know best. So who among you here still visit your doctors even if you don't have any illness? Every year? Why do you visit your doctor? Because his dad is a doctor. Every day. Doctor ano? Dr. Go is an ano. How about the others? And when you're sick, to whom do you go? To your pediatrician or to your internist? So there's still ano, children. So you can go to your pediatrician. Fortunately, people in Manila, they have an adolescent pediatrician, Dr. Cutico, but in Bacolod we still don't have, but you can go to your pediatrician. Where? Okay. So from now on, at least try to visit your doctor every year. Not only when you have symptoms of illness, but however, if you have symptoms of illness, you go to your doctor ASAP, as soon as possible. So you have to you need to ask your doctor about immunizations that are suited for your age, and also if you visit your doctor regularly, at least you build your rapport with your doctor so that if there is a future problem, you have somebody you can trust to, and you know that your doctor will provide you guidance in secrecy. No? So that will be handled with utmost secrecy. And since the information you give your doctor will be handled in utmost secrecy, the doctor would also expect you to give your information with utmost honesty. No? So you have to let it all out. So if you have problems with drugs, you are smoking, you're taking alcohol, those are vital information. Do you have thoughts of hurting yourself, for example, when you are sad and depressed? That's also a vital information, so your doctor could help you. Are you sexually active? No. Vital information too. Have you ever been pregnant? Do you have... The boys, they've never been pregnant. Okay. Any history of abortion? Any history of sexually transmitted disease? Were you once a victim of physical abuse or sexual abuse? Those are information the doctor expects you to open up. Next slide. So you don't have to be shy to your doctors. So if informations are given regarding sexual activity or sexual symptoms, then your doctor could request for tests necessary to help you, like screening for sexually transmitted disease, including your HIV or your AIDS, test for cervical cancer, which is remote, your age, to confirm pregnancy if your menstruation did not arrive at the expected time, and he or she can advise you when it comes to your sexuality. So we will now have reasons why teens have sex.
Barkada kasi, mapilit. Ayaw ko nga sana pero pinilit ako na isama sa kanya. Bibinyagan daw ako. Sensei daw ako. Baka daw ako. Wala, passport.
Actually, hindi naman ganun. I'm looking for sex with him. It's my boyfriend. Sabi niya, I have to go home. Sex is the expression of love and knowledge.
Lahat naman ng tao nagsisex naman. Ito na lang yun. Mga friends ko, mga pizza ko, lahat puro sex ang nasa utak. So, I can't join them.
Sabihin ko na totoo. Masarap eh. Feels good.
Somehow, when you have sex, you're more mature. Sabi nga nila, you're no longer a girl, you're now a woman.
Parang paninigarilyo. Ibig sabihin nun, hindi ka na totoy. Grown up ka na. Parang ganun.
When I had sex with my boyfriend, I feel love. It's like sharing oneself with someone who loves.
Agree ka mo? Agree? So, some reasons why teens have sex. Number one, my friend pressured me, especially among boys, na binyagan. Who among you here were baptized already? Sa girls ba may baptism? No, baptism lang when you were babies. So, how many of you were baptized already? Wala sila na baptized. So, my partner pressured me. So, the boyfriend pressured the girlfriend. Sometimes, maybe the girlfriend pressures the boyfriend. No? So, everyone else is doing it. It feels good. You feel mature, you feel love. So, those are some of the reasons. But sex is something that should be done with responsibility, no? When being responsible when it comes to sex, because sex is a process by which human beings procreate or reproduce or make babies, but it is within the context of marriage, no? It should be a union that is open to a possibility of pregnancy or conception. So it is something that should be done responsibly. So are you ready?
Gusto pa lang, medyo parang alam ko nang compatible kami. Iba yung gusto niya, ibang gusto ko. Kaya madalas kaming mag-away. Pero sa isang bagay lang kami nagkakasundo, sa sex. Sa isang pagdikit sa aming relasyon. Parehong konserbatibo ang aming background. We heard all the threats about what would happen when our desires control us. Pero binaliwala namin yun. To us, it's unavoidable. A natural part of growing up. Sige lang na sige. Experimenting. Always trying something new. Di ko naisip na baby nga palang resulta nito.
Father ko sa sex, di gaya ni Albert. Di naman talaga ako enjoy sa mga pegging sessions namin sa sinehan or parking lot. Ayoko rin mag-motel. Alam ko yun, kasi nga ayoko mag-motel. Pero flattered ako sobra kapag nagagandahan siya sa akin. Hindi ko na nga siya mapigilan hanggang sa, yun na nga, buntis na ako.
So that's the consequence of That's the consequence of sex, no? If you're not ready, buntis na nga siya. So are you ready to take care of a newborn baby who is entirely helpless and dependent on its parents? If you are still studying, are you ready for that? That should be the consideration when you want to engage in sex. Secondly, you have to, so it is therefore necessary for two individuals to have a lasting relationship and to have commitment before engaging in sex, so that if ever you become pregnant, you are ready to bring up the infant. So, are you ready for the commitment? It is just for kicks. Do you want to be a baby maker or really a responsible father, no? And mother? So is sex and love making the same? Who says they're the same? Is sex equals love? Love equals sex? No. The answer is no. So the goal of sexual act is really to strengthen the loving bond between married couples. So sex is a beautiful expression of a love between two responsible and committed adults. It is actually a gift of God. But you have to wait for that gift when you are already married. No? So, back. So sometimes for example, your boyfriend pressures you to have sex with him because to show your love. This is why we are differentiating love from sex. Now, sometimes sex could just be an expression of lust, and lust is something that is short-lived. It is selfish. It is shallow. While true love is really sacrificial. It can wait, and it is truly a giving of self. So that, next slide. So that if you truly love, you don't want to put your partner at the risk of pregnancy, at the risk of sexually transmitted disease, or when she gets pregnant, she will be rejected by the family, she cannot study, so that her future is questionable. So, are you willing to put your partner on that condition if what you truly feel is love? That's the question.
Last summer vacation, I met a guy in the beach resort. He was smart and cute. Napaka-aggressive niya. He courted me maski alam niyang may shota na ako. Before I knew it, I was in bed with him. After that, di na kami nagkita. And to make it worse, nabuntis niya ako. Syempre, galit na galit ang parents ko. Gusto nga nila ipalaglag pero di ako pumayag. Pinadala nila ako sa province para manganak. Nag-drop ako sa school, and I'm working in a fast food chain now. Mahirap palang mabuhay as a single working mom.
So sex has a price tag, no? Initially, sex is being advertised as pleasurable, but after that, it has its consequences. So what are the consequences of sex, no? So are you ready to face it? Are you man enough? Or are you ready to be mother? So let us see what are the consequences of sex. So after sex, reality bites in. So you might find yourself having sexually transmitted disease. You might find yourself pregnant. Or because you've given up your virginity, you don't care anymore. The next guy that comes around, you can give it to him easily. So you have sexual promiscuity. And those who have no money to support themselves or to support their family can go into prostitution. Then when you've done it, you want to experiment it with others. Will I enjoy it with a male more, with the female? So you have confusion, gender confusion, and then through further experimentation, you could develop deviant behavior in sex, no? And then you have the fear of being found out, and later on, you have this guilt within you. Next slide. So love is never being sorry later. So if it's really love, it could wait so that you'll not be sorry later. So how does love really start? True love, and then sometimes ends up in something not desirable. So usually you are attracted to somebody, he or she is beautiful or handsome, and then you start thinking of that somebody, you have emotional attraction which leads to romantic relationships. And then sometimes this attraction gets physical, and before you know it, it can lead to something serious, no? And if you are at this stage, do you think you have the willpower and the self-control to stop? Do you think, boys?
Very good.
Next slide. So you know how it happens. You have the stages. The boy meets girl, then you go out in group, barkada, and then when in the barkada, you start singling out the girl or the boy you prefer, and then starts with holding hands and ends up somewhere. So surrender ko nung bataan.
Would you dance if I asked you to dance? Would you run and never look back? Would you cry if you saw me cry? Would you save my soul tonight?
True, not true? From experience? No. So, hasta lang anay attraction, no? Next slide. So, these are the top reaction of the male and female teens after the first intercourse. No, so you would see, ang boys, yeah, different. Also, the boys now, they conform with the statistics. They are excited, thrilled, satisfied, happy, joyful. But the girls are afraid. They're guilty, they're worried, ashamed, and sorry. So, what is the moral lesson from here? What do we really want to drive at? That if you don't want to, you can say no. So protecting yourself against unwanted sexual advances. So here's how. Avoid getting into a situation where the possibility of sexual involvement is high. So avoid being alone with someone in a secluded or enclosed area. So don't go on researching with somebody alone. Or be sensitive to a companion's suspicious behavior. For example, you were invited to go out or to research. Makiramdam, no? You try to feel whether ang motive niya of inviting you is really to research or something else. So, be wise. And be aware of your own physical responses. You know when they say it's better to really stop from at the first inclination because it's really hard to stop when you're at it. So flee. Pag-ara palangda, Palagyo na, no?
Mamaya na yan.
So at the slightest sign, kalas na. Flee, no? Flee. Next slide.
No.
Hindi. No.
Di pwede.
No.
Ayoko nga.
No.
No, ayoko nga.
No.
No, ayoko nga.
Dang it.
No. Let's do it after marriage.
Next, ano ka ba talaga? Are you bothered by this? Homosexual? Are you attracted to the same sex? You have transsexual desires, meaning you're a male but you think inside you were made to be a female, or you're a female but deep inside you think you're a male, you have transsexual desires, or you're a transvestite, you're a male dressing up to be a female. So ano ka ba talaga? That's also one of the problems of adolescents. So if you're nalilito, na confused ka, you can try seeking out help from your guidance counselor, from your pastor, from your doctor, only if you have some confusion. But if you are well settled, then there's no problem.
One problem, answer, was the experience I had with another guy. When I went to college, I was very lonely. Naging close kami ni John. Nagtulungan kami gumawa ng mga assignments at mga reports namin. We had some sex experiences together. It all started instantly, but led into something, which made me feel guilty until now. That's why today, I have problems being intimate physically with other girls. Alam ko, hindi ako bakla, pero takot lang ako makipag-relationship sa mga babae.
So, gusto mo bang magbago? This, the example that showed us that this is one person who just because of the circumstance that he was lonely, was led into that experience. However, it is not a permanent, permanent situation because that is something that he was, at that moment, he was just led into it, but it is not something that is permanent. There is chance for him to reverse himself or to amend that that mistake. Next slide. So this is what we're thinking. We're saying that we are here around to help you if you have any problem regarding your sexuality, your identity, etc., etc. So what we're driving at now is abstinence is the surest way to avoid pregnancy and sexually transmitted disease, and to a brighter future and a more successful marriage. Thank you. I'm sorry, that was not the last slide. This is the last slide. What we're saying here is abstinence from sex would give you a brighter future. But we are not hopeless. We are not at the mercy of ano. What we can do is to divert our energy and our thoughts to something positive. So when you say no to something that is quite wrong, it takes a greater yes for something that is right. Like you can go out, engage yourself in family outings, be in sports, art and music, in your church activities, in the performing arts, or you want to cook and start your cooking business later, or you can, if you can afford, you go on tours. Then that way, those activities can make you divert your thoughts and make your activities productive.
There are already some questions coming in, and one of the questions here is, at what age should you go for pediatrician? Pediatrician.
Pediatricians usually see you from your birth up to around 10, 11, or 12. But nowadays, we've changed that because adolescent medicine extends till you're 19. So you can continue seeing your pediatrician if she feels comfortable enough to see teenagers until you're 19. The girls, you can go to your obstetrician gynecologist anytime if you have any problems with your private parts, your reproductive organs. The boys, you can start going even to your internal medicine or adult doctor when you're just as big as them. So some pediatricians won't feel comfortable dealing with you.
Okay. So you can go to your pediatrician till you're 19, but of course you can approach any other doctor if you don't feel comfortable with whatever is happening to your body at any time that you want.
There's a question here regarding can a person have more than one sexually transmitted disease? Yes. In fact, when we treat patients or individuals with sexually transmitted diseases, we usually treat them empirical. There's empirical treatment that means we give multiple drug therapy for them. So you can have not only a single sexually transmitted disease, you can have one or more in a single person. We're just having, let's say, casual sex with a sex worker, for example. There's another question in relation to sexually transmitted diseases, whether hepatitis is sexually transmitted. Hepatitis A is not. B, yes, but it doesn't cause diseases in the sexual organs. It actually causes a disease in the liver and could give rise to hepatic cancer later on, so cancer of the liver. So hepatitis B is transmitted through the seminal fluid. There's also a question regarding the difference between infertility and impotence. Okay, infertility is the incapacity of a couple to conceive or to have a baby, while impotence is the inability of a male individual or a boy to achieve ejaculation or erection, right? Erection, penile erection, and ejaculation. So that you can be infertile, but you're not impotent. So if you're impotent, it's very it's a ground for what do you call this, legal separation, because you will not be able to accomplish the sexual act, and it is impossible for you to conceive a baby. But with infertility, you can be infertile, but still the couple can achieve sexual pleasure or sexual penetration. There's a question here also about the relationship, will alcohol prevent pregnancy? No, it won't. It won't. In fact, it will cloud your mental capacity to say no to sex. Okay? So, don't take any alcohol. Most of the, especially now, you go to North Point, during weekends, gimmick, puro da. Kisa kadto ko na to, tanan gitawag tita sa ako na ko nalaga palagyo. I see girls and boys your age smoking, drinking, going besides there in dark places. I don't know what you're doing there, but then if you can only say no with a clear mind, so say no to alcohol because alcohol really clouds the mind. No, it does not prevent pregnancy. In fact, it could lead you to pregnancy. Okay, girls? Any other questions? Consult your doctor. The question is, how do you know when you're baog? Baog is infertility. Being infertile, not capable of having a baby, whether it's the male who has the problem or it's the female who has the problem.
I would just like to add, of course, if you have any problems, in terms of your health, physically and sexually, you should consult your doctor. But what I'm bothered by about that particular question is that you're already concerning yourself about something that you're not even sure that you would have or you would be problematic about in the future. So if you're not sexually active yet, you're not desirous of pregnancy, or you're not desirous of having a child yet, then this is something that you shouldn't worry yourself about. Okay? Do not fret over something that it's still far away from your present situation. So at your age, you should enjoy your youth, and not think about these problems yet. For all you know, this is not a problem that you would ever experience in your lifetime.
I'm afraid to cut this session short because it's almost time.
20 minutes more? Okay. Okay. Dr. Oblipias would like to say something very important, and there's a point he wants to make for all of you.
So, sexually transmitted you from randomly or responsibly engage in sex. Okay? Siguro the fear of the pictures, it will fade away, in time. But what we want you to know is this: not all sexual partners transmitted will have any outward signs of this disease. So you might think that your partner is safe because there is no sign. But let me tell you, the worst sexually transmitted disease, or AIDS, or human immune deficiency virus, HIV, you're all aware of this.
diba? There's still no cure for this sexually transmitted disease. And in the very early stages, they look normal. So you shouldn't put down your guard just because your partner looks normal outwardly.
What's the doctor for? And when it's found out to be normal, however, there is a follow-up so we can be sure. Because there is a dormant period, right? And that's what you said.
You have the HIV patient and you have the AIDS patient. When you say HIV patient, the patient has contracted this disease and has the virus in the blood. And the patient is already communicable, meaning that person can already transmit the disease to the partner, not knowing that he has already the disease, but he looks normal. Now in you know Magic Johnson? Yes. Okay, so he is a basketball player. He is, he has the physique of a basketball player. He looks healthy, he looks normal, but he contracted the disease apparently through blood transfusion. HIV is not just a sexually transmitted disease. This can be transmitted through blood transfusion, blood coming from a person infected with the disease, or the sharing of needles, in drug users. Sometimes they have only one syringe or needle to use. They share the needle. If one of the user is HIV positive, then most likely he is spreading the disease around his friends. So they might look normal. Even the example that I gave you, sometimes the signs will only show when they're already at the terminal stages of the disease, being about to die. So that's the problem. Plus, in some instances, I'll have a test. I'll have a blood test to find out. In the United States, because they're very conscious about this, they ask their boyfriend, before they engage in sex with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, they have themselves tested. But until that, they use protection.
By advising the man to wear boxer shorts instead of the jockey shorts, because the jockey shorts is somewhat tight and it brings up the testicle closer to the body, and closer to the body there is an increase in the heat because of the body core temperature. So pag naka boxer short siya, the testicles are a little farther away from the body. Hindi nyo ba inisip yon? How come the ovaries are inside and the testicles are outside? I think boxer shorts are now fashionable. It's not, I mean the metrosexuals, you know what metrosexuals are? So they use boxer shorts, no more jockey shorts. But if you're more comfortable with the jockey, but a lot of men naman wear the usual jockey shorts and still they can get their wives pregnant.
Yes, Dr. Digia, something to say?
I just wanna okay. First, you get worried if you have multiple partners. Okay? You are high risk for infection. Second, if you think your partner is promiscuous, or for example, you go to a relationship with a prostitute. Okay? Third also is also if you, what do you call this? If you know that somebody is having the symptoms of an illness, sexually transmitted disease, then you're at high risk. But the best thing, of course, is to avoid having sex early. Okay? So these are some high risk factors when you want to know when you want to go to a doctor. Okay?
Okay, are there any more questions? There was a question here posed, why in males, some males, one testicle is higher than the other. This is just like the breast. One breast is bigger than the other. It's normal. It's normal. So don't be worried about it. Are there any questions from the floor here right now? If at the end of this session you still insist in having premarital sex, then you weren't listening at all. And the point we're trying to drive is that premarital sex at your age is not right. Number one, because you don't want to get sick of a sexually transmitted disease, which can affect your life later on when you already with your real partners in life, like your wife, your husband. Number two, not only that you get the disease, but you also get an unwanted pregnancy, which is the statistics are climbing. It's like in every 4, there's 1 pregnant adolescent. That's how high it is right now, so we're concerned about it, and we want to do something about it, especially in the obstetrical society. So that's why we're promoting this film, to make you stop from having premarital sex at this point in your life. Is that understood? Okay. Mrs. Ralios, you have anything more to say?
So we would like to end this session, but before that, I would like to address the student that POPCOM 2003 report states that the youth early sexual activity is usually the result of experimentation which creates a disturbing impact on the young people's lifestyle and most especially on their value formation. Today's forum is truly apt and timely. It is direct and factual. It is challenging you to be more discerning and reflective in your decision makings with regards to your choices of activities, putting premium to self-respect and in your relationship with the opposite sex. As the future of this province, we hope you resolve to make a difference, putting to actuality the teaching of our founder, St. John Baptist de la Salle. In closing, the Science Department and the Guidance Services Center, in particular, and the Integrated School through Dr. Mirna Huplo, our principal, in general, would like to express our appreciation to the Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society, National and Chapters, Region 6 chapters, and the Santa Fe Adventist for choosing our school as their launching institution for the Youth Health Forum in Region 6. Are you not proud being the first school to be given this institution? At this point in time, I would like to address all the homeroom advisors to please give out and distribute the evaluation form to randomly selected students and collect them afterwards and forward them to the guidance office. At this point, I would like now to ask Mrs. Calvo. We will distribute our certificates. Who is the class mayor here? Or is the student president is here? Can you please stand up and help us? Mr. Alan Motus, our SAC president. The certificate reads, Guidance Services Center and Science Department recognize for the time shared as resource speaker during the Youth Health Forum, jointly sponsored by the Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society, POGS, and Sanofi Adventists, given the 6th day of October 2004 at the University of St. La Salle, Bacolod City. Signed, Mrs. Cristina B. Calvo, Science Department Chair. Yours truly, Maria Zilpa P. Ralios, Guidance Director, and Dr. Mirna Huplo, Principal. So, Dr. Agnes Chutico. Dr. Juanito Miguel Chutico. This is the husband and wife team, I understand. Dr. Enrique Hill Oblipias. Dr. Blanca de Guia. He's the Regional Director of POGS, Dr. Evelyn Lacson. Dr. Regil Palmares. Okay. Dr. Mary Faith Villaruz. Dr. Maria Teresa Maestral. Dr. Rudita Gustilo. I also would like to recognize the presence of our institutional doctor. Dr. Altarejos is here with us. Okay. University of St. La Salle Integrated School, Bacolod City Guidance Services Center, and the Science Department through Sanofi Adventists present the Certificate of Appreciation to Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society, POGS. This is the national chapter. Okay, can you please present? The same certificate is given to the Region 6 chapter. And of course, the Guidance Services Center and the Science Department through the Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society present the Certificate of Appreciation to Sanofi Adventist for facilitating the Youth Health Forum to the Integrated School High School Department. Okay. So, in behalf of the whole Lasallian community, doctors, students, thank you very much for giving us the chance to be able to reach you of the most important concerns, some of which you are afraid to ask. And we are glad that these people are here to give it to us. Thank you very much. God bless.